Hi, today we're going to be talking about this thing that I'm trying to really expound for you, and that is that safety signaling is the key ingredient for resolving symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. And this is the sequel, part two of what I did on what the talk I gave just recently called "How Safety Signaling Can Help Resolve Anxiety, Depression, and Traumatic Stress." And I really wanted to talk about this further because it when I after I did that video, after I made that video, there were so many things I wanted to say. There's so many more things. And so I wanted to follow up by just diving into, I want to give you examples of what safety signalings are, even more in depth. I alluded to them, but I had a different intention for that video. So I left those out and I was like, oh, so and make another video. um, and then the other thing I want to show you, I want to give you um, uh, I wrote it down. So I'm going to need to hook my brain up because it's not wording with me yet. I want to give you a tour of my process and how safety signaling works with it, and why this is the key ingredient. I want to impress upon you that's the key ingredient, and it's really the key ingredient for getting your brain to resolve the symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress for you. And then I'll show you my process so that you can see it in action. I do want you to understand that there are so many safety signalings. There are so many ways to safety signal, but we really want to find things that work for you and that we can where we can reach a therapeutic level. Okay, not just something nice, but actually enough to transform this whole thing. And so we'll dive in. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So my name's Rachel McLeod. I'm a mental health therapist and emotional wellness coach, and I specialize in helping people do the brain work for resolving symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. I also have a specialty in complex PTSD recovery. And so uh, that's really complex. All of those things are complex. All of these are really challenging, but the brain has a very beautiful process for resolving these things. And that process gets stopped or blocked and it doesn't work. And so the brain actually can't go through its process for resolving those symptoms for you. And instead it gets blocked. It creates survival strategies, fight, flight, freeze, faint, and fawn. And then what your brain is trying to process actually gets stored back in the body. And the body tries again and again, and it creates this loop that is exhausting and depleting. And if we can get that processing process open, then all of a sudden, that stuff that used to cause symptoms is now creating uh, health, wealth, the resolution of your solutions. You see my words, the resolution of your symptoms. Okay. And so that's really, really important. And there's so many other awesome things the brain's going to do once we get that process open and running, because that's the pathway to executive function. If you don't have enough executive functioning going on, you got executive functioning challenges. Often this is because this is not running. This process isn't running. And we can work with the brain to open that. And we work with the survival system part of the brain where that it only wants to know if we're safe or not safe. Okay, so that's really its only question here. If it's safe, it lets it pass. If it's not safe, it doesn't, and it's reading the data from the body. And so we want to send it signals. That's what we're going to talk about today. Again, we're going to send it safety signals, signals that it recognizes safe. And so it's going to say, okay, we're safe. We'll let all this stuff go to the top instead of using it for fight, flight, freeze, faint, or fawn. So getting this one brain process up and running is transformational on so many levels. And so it can really seem like such a simple process. Oh, I'm just supposed to sit and use my time to safety signal. Yes, because of what it does in your brain, because of the capacity your brain now has to resolve your symptoms for you. It's like trying to cook a meal, but the fire isn't going. And all of a sudden, if you spend your time making sure that there's enough logs, your job is just putting logs on there. And so the fire is doing the cooking. You're not doing the cooking. Okay. So that's the safety signaling is the logs on the fire kind of thing. That's the work that we want to shift into instead of trying to talk through our symptoms, talk through our stressors, talk through all these things that are going on. We really want to sit back and, like, before we do that, is there even a fire on this pot that we're trying to cook, bake, boil? I don't So if this process isn't up and running, talking through your symptoms is going to make it worse. So if we can get this open and running while you're talking about your symptoms, while you're talking about what's going on, or while you're thinking about what's going on, then all of a sudden it's not just talking about it. Your brain is actually processing and converting, and then you will watch transformation. You won't have to loop anymore. You won't have to stay stuck in patterns and cycles you don't want anymore. Your brain's job is to resolve that and to break you free from those things. But if it can't get into that state, it can't do that job for you. Okay. And so that's so the safety signaling is that key ingredient where we're sending those signals up to the part of the brain. We're saying, hey, I know that there's some pain running, but it's safe. It's safe. It's safe. It's safe. And all of a sudden that opens. Safety signaling. That's the one thing you get to have full control over. And so I want to empower you with this and teach you what these things are so you can do them. Because in mental health, you can run the lap with your brain. You can think about all the catastrophic things, the what if, the what if, what if. You could spend your time there, or you could just kind of pull away from that a little bit and do your safety signaling, and you'll watch that resolve right in front of your face. It seems like magic, but it's not. It is the brain's ability to finally digest all those concerns, those catastrophes, those things, and then actually use it for growth. And sometimes we don't always get to watch the growth process. We actually just watch this thing disappear. And then we're like, where'd it go? But as you watch the process more, you'll see as you live life, your brain will quickly be able to be giving you new ideas, new ways of thinking, epiphanies, insights. And that's really watching your brain do all of that stuff. Okay. So to get all of the good stuff, the part that the brain is really missing is safety signaling. Okay. Safety signaling. So let's talk about what is safety signaling. Safety signaling uh, is anything that signals safety to your survival system. That's the only part of the brain we're working with. It's the gatekeeper. It can override your will. It can override your intentions. It can override your plans for the day. If you've been triggered and you've spent the day dissociated, you know this is true intuitively. You've already experienced the power of this survival system part of the brain. If you got angry about something and you just were livid the whole day long, angry cleaning, angry driving, angry, that's that survival state going, and you don't get choices about that part of the brain. So we want to influence it. Okay, so if we give it the safety signals and signals it registers as safe, then all of a sudden it will shift. So what are those things? Okay, these are things that are external to you and also things that are internal to you. I work a lot with using internal ones because we can't guarantee that the externals are going to happen. But I want you to know what the externals are. Also, what's interesting here is that the more you have internal safety signals, the more external safety signals will show up. A lot of our disorders want the external safety signals to show up first, and then we'll start building the internal ones. And that we want that because that was the developmental design in early childhood. We were supposed to be receiving so many external safety signals that it would teach our system how to build it from the inside out. And so we would just be doing a very beautiful safety signaling dance with the internal and external world, and there would be an abundance of safety. Many of us grew up in situations where there was not a lot of external signs of safety or not enough for our system to feel as safe and secure as it needed to feel. And so we didn't get enough of that opportunity. So we didn't learn how to do safety signaling from the inside. And so our external world is like, it's not that safe. And that pattern continues. And so we still want the external world to look safe and be safe, but it just doesn't. So therapeutically, I don't like to rely on the externals because we can't guarantee any of those. And we need therapeutic levels of safety signaling. So, but I do want you to know what they are because when you see them, I want you to take note and enjoy. Okay. Safety signals can be sounds other people are making, other things are making to you, like, we are hearing them, like, that's not a safety signal, right? Or, what did you mean by that? To see the curiosity in there, that's a safety signal. That's like, oh, it's safe to talk. Let's go. What did you mean by that? That's not a safety signal. You're in danger. You say the wrong thing, and watch what happens. So your survival system already is picking up those nuances and is it's signaling to it we're safe or we're not safe. And so those are external ones. Somebody coming and rubbing our shoulder while we're talking about something, or if we're crying and upset, someone hugging us, that could be a safety signal. For other people, maybe hugging is not a safety signal. That's a distress signal, or it's dysregulating to somebody. It all depends on what your system needs and what it will interpret as safety. Lots of people find rocking very safe. That they're rocking, they're actually sending safety signals to the brain. This is a little bit more internal one, but somebody could rock you. You could hold somebody and they could just rock you. Maybe you've got a grandparent or a mom or parent, dad around, and they'll just hold you and rock you. And you just notice that your system feels more calm and safe afterwards. That what they did to you is the safety signal to your brain. If they held you and rocked you and made you more distressed, probably not a safety signal. Do you see that it's dependent upon if it signals safety to your brain? Thumb sucking, that's more of an internal one because you can do it yourself. Um, Storytelling, watching fire move, fire lights. Gosh, there's so many external ones, but we are doing them with each other all the time. But what we're looking for is, does it feel safe? Does your system, your survival system up there, I'm like, yeah, we're safe. That's the signal. Somebody listening to you and it sounds like what you're really talking about is this and this, and you're like, yes, that's a safety signal. That's actually great brain work they're helping you do, just by listening and matching and attuning to you and feeding back something safe back to you. Your survival system will say, oh, this is safe, and they'll even go so far as saying this is a safe person, and you'll be very attracted to that person. um, and so there are caveats to that one, but typically safe brains are really attracted to safety signaling. Internal safety signaling, these are signals inside your body that your survival system is listening to and is registering that this is safe. Whatever is going on right here is safe. It might have thought it was bad, not safe, and whatever, but we're going to send it enough safety signals, or it's already happening. And even though we're in something that's not very safe, healthy, good, maybe we're uh, somebody behind us is honking at us, right? But if our system is noticing that our breathing is slow and our exhale is slow, that's a safety signal. If we start to have more shallow breathing, that's a sign of danger. Your system is listening to your breathing. Your system is listening to your heart rate. If your heart rate starts elevating, it's signaling we're in danger. If we can get that heart rate lowering, it's signaling we're safe. And we can shift this even though the things that are going on in our world might not appear to be safe. And so this is not that we're tricking the brain, perhaps, but we're shifting the brain into a higher function where it can actually assess the situation and not just react. We're saying there's enough safety here that you can assess what's going on. We can use all the parts of the brain, the full brain, instead of just survival mode. And so we're doing this. There's ways we can touch ourselves. Like people will do this, oh my gosh, and they'll put their hand on their head. This is very safety signaling for the brain. And it also has the added benefit of shifting how energy and chemicals and electricity is flowing in our prefrontal cortex in our brain. And so our nervous system registers this as safety a high percentage of the time. So I will use this with people because bodies like this, right? Bodies like the survival system likes it when our breathe exhale is slow. It likes that. It's like, oh, okay, we're not being chased by tigers, right? Its ability to determine safety is basically like, would you be doing it if you're being chased by a tiger? No. So it's probably safe. But tigers could be your mom's face, right? Your mom's a face she makes that when she's mad. And so all of a sudden your brain is like, if you switch your breathing pattern there, which is, if you can do that, then your brain will say, oh, there's enough safety here that your brain will actually process mom's face, her angry face, instead of reacting to it. And this gives you a lot of power in your actual real-time life, because you actually get to be in the moment with a full brain function instead of reaction survival mode. Okay. That's really, really huge. It's bigger than I can even explain to you in this video, and I'm not even going to try because I'm going to make a video about processing, and I'm going to try to go off on that and tell you all the awesome things that happen. But so we can shift our how much safety signaling is moving through our actual body, our nervous system, in moments where we really need them, and even in moments where we want to say, hey, this is a break, this is a timeout, I'm sending you a bunch of safety signals because I'm sure you got things you need to process. Let's go. Okay. um, Back here to safety signaling. Okay, I had a thought that threw me for a loop. um, where was I? Where did I go here? Because I want to move to the next thing, and I want to finish this one. Let's see. Okay, safety signaling. One of the other pieces of safety signaling is what's going on in your skin. So there's an idea called havening. I'm not into havening that much. I've not researched it, but I think it's something like you hold your arms over here and you hold. Right. It can, for many nervous systems, it can feel like a hug from yourself. And I have watched people do this unconsciously and without me teaching them in sessions when we're processing trauma, and this regulates their nervous system. So I'm like, do more of that. There's butterfly hug where you're doing some alternating bilateral stimulation. Brains love this. This is also an added bonus of the brain moving from the right to the left to the right to the left hemispheres and things. And so this actually also supports the brain to shift into processing mode. So it's kind of like, let's help also process. So we're gonna send safety signals and process. That can make this intervention really problematic for the wrong person. You really want to do check and see if you find this to be helpful, because even though it will work, you might not be ready for how well it works, and there might be some other skills that you need to develop before you get going over here with some EMDR. This is EMDR. This butterfly hug is EMDR. Okay. But it's a safety signal. Um, so, and it's kind of brain pedaling. So a lot can happen with a little bit of that. And so if you want to try it, start small. There's other interventions like tapping. We're actually using touch to send those safety signals, and we're using some energy pathways that our body already comes equipped with. It's already built like this. So we can use those electrical pathways to just talk to the body and send safety signaling. And that's what happens. In this intervention works really quick and it's easy. And most people can do it when they're in full survival modes, or it's hard to do in full survival mode. Anything's hard to do in full survival mode, but if even just a lot high survival mode, people can use this intervention. So it makes it really helpful and beneficial. So we've got these little points we can tap. And they're sending, the key is, it's not that it's so fabulous to tap, it's what they're doing to this, what they're communicating to the survival mode, which is you're safe. And we'll do a round of this that is really fast, takes that long, and then we'll check again. And then what was really scary at a 10 is now 4, right? There's a big shift in what the brain can accomplish in just a short amount of time because we're working with electrical processes. All of these safety signals are opening an electrical process that now that processing is happening, the brain can actually cook. And you want that. That's really what we're going for. And that's why safety signaling is huge. Now, in most of my videos, I don't talk about safety signaling. That's a now thing. I've been using that term a lot now. What I have said in the past is intervention use. You want to use your intervention. Use your intervention, because these interventions that work for you and that are your preferred intervention, it's sending, that intervention is a safety signaling intervention. It's sending safety signals to your brain. You're going to use it a lot. Okay, so there's another piece here. All that's fun and games, right? And it's awesome. Try it. It is fun and games. I promise you, it's awesome. When you find the intervention that is the right safety signal for your brain, it is fun and games, period. To not be stuck looping on something, to be able to shift out of a panic attack, to be able to see your child being a child instead of being your mother in your face, yelling at you, is a huge, awesome thing that is all fun and games. To actually be able and watch yourself act like an adult who's present with your child, Fun and games. Okay, so there's so many things that being in a whole brain state, being in a processing state in real time, it matters, and it opens doors, and it transforms the way you see things, the way you interact with things, and it opens up your highest abilities. It's fun and games. Okay, now while that's all fun and games, we have disorders to resolve, right? And so we need to a process for this, right? We are restoring health and wellness. We're resolving symptoms and rebuilding function for sustainable, thriving, and mental health. That's our goal. Got two goals up in here. So there's a process for this. So I'm going to give you the bird's eye view, and this is my process. There are other processes. I can't really evaluate the effectiveness of this. I like mine. I'm serious about my work, and I get people great results, and they love their brain. So I'm very happy and satisfied. So I'm going to show you mine. And it's not the only process in the world. It's mine. It's one I know about. Okay. When we have a disorder, and typically when people want to work out with me, their brain is out of hand, their symptoms are out of hand, there's enough problem in their life with this brain stuff and symptoms that they're like, I need to do something now, or X, Y, and Z bad thing is going to happen, or I can't live like this anymore, or I don't want to miss out on any more amazing moments in my life because I'm in a panic attack and I can't go to visit anybody because I can't leave my house. Okay. Or I can't stand my husband, and if I don't do this, I'm going to, I don't know, explode. I'm going to whatever, right? But there's enough problems that they have associated with symptoms that they want this resolved. So because of the problematic nature, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to pour their system full of safety signaling. And that's the very first thing I have people do, which is why I say use these interventions a lot, because I want you to take this big bucket of safety signaling that you just learned about, and I want to pour it in your system. That means that you're just going to, about anything and nothing, you're just going to start using your preferred intervention. I teach 3 of these interventions in my program, Inner World Interventions for Inner World Transformation. This is for free. You try mine. These are here because they work the best. You can do them a lot. Crying will get you through this. Crying can be a safety signal to the survival system, but I don't want you to cry yourself through a disorder. It's a lot of crying. You can. I've done I've done that with different episodes. I've done that. It doesn't have to be like that. So I want you to grab one of these that work and use it a lot. I have people use their intervention for up to 2 times a day, because by this time, when you're just getting a way to work your processor, your brain is going into survival mode so often that we don't need to be intelligent here. We just need to provide safety signaling. What will happen, and I like people to do this up to a week in advance. Sometimes people need 2 weeks of daily pouring of survival mode, safety, not survival mode, safety signaling onto the situation, into their system. When that happens, the system will be able to start processing things. And so the first things that are going to happen is any work the brain can do during those weeks, 2 weeks, the brain will do. And so we will notice tons of upgrading, tons of healing, tons of feeling better, tons of symptoms and capacities restored. Maybe they weren't sleeping, now they're sleeping. I don't know what your brain will do with this. It has its own priorities, and it's only going to do what it can with the safety signaling. So there's going to be stuff in there that's so knotted. You could pour safety signals on it. It's going to take a while because it's knotted. That's where we're going to use more advanced skills. But stuff that's more simple to your brain, not to you. I mean, I've seen stuff that I'm like, oh, I think we're going to be here a while. 1 week of safety signaling and the brain's resolved it. So I don't make judgments on what's complex for your brain or what's simple. It doesn't make sense on a level 2. It's not worth thinking about. This is a symptom. Let's put some safety signaling on it, see what the brain does. If it resolves it, done. And a lot of times it will. And if it doesn't, okay, this is a more complex one for your brain, and we will help your brain resolve this. Using processes. Okay. Now, after those 2 weeks of just let your brain sort it out itself by dumping, I call this general processing, general safety signaling, general intervention. You use it anytime, all the time, as much as you want. This is one of the things that's so transformational, but takes the least amount of skill. All you need to know is your preferred intervention, and you just get to work. I like to empower people with this because I don't want you limited to using interventions just in your session with whoever you're working with. Your brain is malfunctioning and struggling in your real life all day long, every day. Who's helping it? I want you helping it. It takes the least amount of skill. Go help your brain. Pour in those safety signals so your brain can actually say, oh, okay, we've got enough safety. We can do this processing. Okay. It's transformational. Now, what I have people do is I have them start in the first, I have another program called Inner World Transformation. There are 8 parts to this program. And each one of these is very specific brain work. And the key feature is you got to use your intervention, your safety signaling. While you do this, we're not doing this without safety signaling, because if your brain could do it without safety signaling, it would have already done it. And all brains need safety signaling. It's just that some people's brain never got this is the safety signaling it needed. So you can't do this work yet because you don't have enough safety signaling. Hello, complex PTSD. And with anxiety, depression, and trauma disorders, these are the specific places where you haven't gotten enough safety signaling, right? It's not everywhere in your life, it's in the specific places. When you drive, or when you're in social situations, we need to tuck in safety signaling in there so your brain can actually feel safe enough to function optimally. Okay, so the first thing I have people do is I have people start working with their stressors in your life, right? So we're going to start using safety signaling with that. Their strategies, we're breaking it down. We're doing work. I have people work on this in a journal. It's not journaling, but we're mapping and we're looking and there's ways to explore this stuff. Brains, it matches brains, and so that is a very strategic way to dump safety signaling into into your system. But it's your stressors, so you're actually dumping safety signaling into your stressors. So we're narrowing it down, not just general. We're actually going after stressors, because brains don't have problems with stressors. Stress is brain food. Brains love that. Brains have problems with how we feel, the emotional distress that about our problems and our stressors. And so we're going to go in there, we're going to help our brain with that, because the pain in there is taking us down survival mode lane and not down processing lane. And so we're just safety signaling so the brain will go down this other direction. And you will thank yourself for this. Okay. Second thing, then I teach us, let's go into events that were wonky or that were traumatic in your past. It depends on your skill set, what you're ready for, what your brain could handle. Some people cannot at all handle going back to the past. We're not going back there then, because there's no reason to fail. We're going to stay where we can succeed. And so if that's just maybe an argument you had with your spouse, or it's a moment you bobbled with a friend, something you did with a child that didn't go quite so well, that's the event we're going to work on. And we're going to build the skill of helping your brain through more complex things like events. And we're going to put a lot of safety signaling so your brain can go and review it and say, that was interesting. Why did we do that? Oh, we did that because of this, and we did that because of that. And oh, it made my stomach hurt and my chest. And then, oh, the stomach and chest meant this. And there were feelings of fear and panic. And we're processing all of that. And it's happening very quick. It takes about 5 to 20 minutes to process an event. There are some events that must be broken down into smaller and smaller events to get them parts of this to get them processable in that amount of time. And so some of them are more complex, but none of them are going to process if that brain process is shut down. But when you resolve an event, there's so much healing and understanding and insight that happens from your brain's perspective that it is deeply transformational to your life. After part 2 of my program, people are feeling so much has changed. This is such a deep healing. The first part is kind of a warm up, but it's really important. And it also helps us pull, like when the brain isn't fighting these things that it was finally able to resolve, there's more energy available for more healing. We're going to take it and we're going to invest it into this next level that's going to be a lot deeper. Then we're going to come and I have people start helping the symptoms of somatic distress, the inner, working with parts, working with the body sensations, those types of things. And we're going to safety signal in here. There are exercises I'm teaching. I do them up to 2 hours a day. Safety signaling, you're learning how to work with yourself in more nuanced ways, your body, your subconscious mind, your parts, and you're learning what happens if I safety signal this part of me that wants to hide and never come out. What happens to her? What happens if I safety signal this part of me that wants to fight everybody all the time? What happens if I safety signal her? Right? These are the questions we're asking, but we're not asking, we're watching, we're safety signaling, and then we're observing. We don't teach our brain gets to teach us. Hey brain, what do you do when you get enough safety signaling in this situation? And then we're like, oh, I see. Oh, okay, you made some connections, you understand more about me. Oh, okay, when I was over here, I just easily was able to say no because I knew it was in alignment with me, but I would have done that every single time before, because your brain hadn't yet figured out what you wanted because it couldn't go through its process. And as it's learning about what's going on in your body, it's learning more about you. So now you have this really good feedback thing. And it happened because of safety signaling. And then it also happened because you actually helped your brain work on an issue it was having in the body, or it had with one of the parts. You're helping with that. And you're helping by safety signaling. Okay. This might sound crazy, but it's the human brain is contingent, that survival system is will shut everything down if there's not enough safety. So why don't we just give it what it needs and let everything run and see what happens? The amount of executive functioning that's going to show up and the amount of inner healing that's going to show up for you is mind blowing. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on your subconscious programming, which is made of emotions, stressors, events, beliefs. It's a very complex programming. Like your brain's back there programming things, and it's running them on the automated, just automation. So we actually want to bring them to your conscious mind, because right now they're subconscious programs. We want to bring them to your conscious mind and get your brain to unravel these things, take out it's no longer working, and then put it back together, put in some better ingredients and wrap it back up, and then run that on the subconscious program. And so we're doing that, but there has to be safety signaling, because what is holding this malfunctioning outgrown process here in its state is that there's something painful in here that your subconscious mind can't get it processed, can't get it past the survival system. The survival system is rejecting it. That's too much pain. It's not safe. Sorry. Because in here there's things like I'm not worthy, I'm worthless, I'm bad, I should be ashamed. There's things in here that survival systems are like, absolutely not, you shall not pass. All of a sudden we do safety signaling and the survival system's to the sides, like, okay, we're safe. And we move this big chunky program through your system. They upgrade it, they resolve it, and then it runs back to your subconscious mind. You just notice yourself doing things at a higher level, more authentic to you, because it actually did its process. Your highest functions got a hold of it and did their magic, which is not magic. It's neurology or something. I'm sure there's a word in there. But so we're helping the brain do its things. Brains upgrade programs all the time. If you got a program that's not upgrading, there's a reason. Okay. Next we're going to work on your boundaries. And this sounds like, okay, I don't have boundary issues, but the deal is that we do have boundary issues. We're always using boundaries, and we want to see how functional your boundaries are moving right now. Are they adaptable? Are they flexible? Are they accurate? Are they keeping out what you don't want and keeping pulling in what you do want? There's assessment pieces here that we need to see your brain doing, because if you're getting stuff you don't want, what's up with that? That's a boundary issue fundamentally. And so we can find that, and then we can say, what's up with that, brain? And the brain will tell you. And now that you're good at subconscious programming work and body sensation work and inner parts and event work and stressors, you can do this. And you can say, hey brain, let's upgrade this. Hey, I'll help you. Okay, it's an event. I'll work through that event with you. Oh, okay, it's this emotion that we're not very good at. Yeah, I know. We're still working on that one. I'll help you. Safety signal, safety signal, safety signal, safety signal, and it's resolving. And watch your boundaries shift for you automatically, because your brain's doing it. Your brain's like, oh yeah, we're not doing this right. Or now that that's out of the way, the picture looks entirely different. And so rewiring is taking place. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at your relationships. By this point, your inner world looks a lot different because we have poured safety signaling and your brain has worked. So now you're probably done with many cycles and dysfunctions in your relationships, and you're ready for an upgrade because you're not even the same person. And so there's strategies in there to help realign you with your relationships and realign your relationships with you. And we want to get your brain to do that for you, because it's the best one to do it. And so we walk through exercise and guiding the brain to do that. And so we're throwing out old beliefs, past events, old resentments, what I want, what I don't want, and we're giving the brain all this information so that it can cook up something different for our relationships. We will watch ourselves talk differently in our relationships. We will watch ourselves interact with our relationships that in a way that actually get us the results that we want because our brain was able to review all that data. Because safety signaling. You could do this work all without safety signaling. I promise you're not going to get very well, and you're probably going to self-sabotage. You're going to cause a lot of pain in your inner world, and you're going to say, this doesn't work, I'm quitting. I know that's how it works because it doesn't work. So if we get your safety signal running, and it might work for people that have enough safety signaling in their system, go, rock on, do you. But if you don't, you're going to notice no healing's happening. And as a matter of fact, things are getting worse. So safety signaling. Then we're going to come and the next strategy is how to put it all together and how to go after what you want and how to help your brain do that. And so now we're using more advanced skills, but safety signaling, safety signaling, safety signaling. Because by this time, your brain doesn't need to do this. Your brain has enough skill to do this. And so we're going to weave it all together and go. We're going to help brains resolve things. I call these focus projects. Like, my brain doesn't want a brain there. Sorry. Not today. We'll do that another time. But it's basically putting all the skills together to help your brain resolve one challenge. Like if it's like I can't, I'm an artist and I can't do my art. Okay, that's the focus project, and we're going to go through all the blocks through the body, sensations, the subconscious programming, events that are inhibiting you from doing your art. Or if you got a procrastination project, we're focusing on that. And we're using all the skills to do that. This is where I operate from when I'm doing my one-on-one sessions. I will just weave through different things because that's my skill set. But when I'm teaching this to people, I teach you in steps to get you up and ready for this part. And then the last part of the program is strategies for mood elevation. I don't do that in the beginning because your brain has to have different functions in order to work together to create more stable moods, higher mood states, and higher function in general. And so realigning your identity, there's a lot of work that has to come here before we can get there. And so I teach that at the end. Now, if you've got complex PTSD, the first time through is going to be awesome. And you're probably going to need to do this another 2 times because every time you're going to be going deeper and deeper and deeper. You're going to help your brain build all the things it needs to build. And it starts how it starts. So, and it's an okay thing. That's good. And so what? It takes you 6 months instead of the 2-month process that I teach. Fine. Usually people are pretty satisfied after they're done with their first round that you can't really pull them back into the work for a while. They're like, I feel great. And then it's like they realize, okay, there's more work. Okay, fine. I'll do the program again. I'll support my brain again to heal and to grow. And so safety signaling, and you get full control over this and you can support this process. And eventually you're like, oh, I get to help my brain. I will. And instead of being like, oh, because endurance, who has the endurance for self-care, right? We have to actually build that, especially with complex PTSD. We're exhausted. Our nervous systems are fried, are full of unresolved stuff. There's flashbacks everywhere. I get it. Finish the program, take a chill, relax. I'm not pressuring you. You'll know when your energies have come back together for another round. And then another round. Same thing. Work at your own pace. If you have a less complex disorder, or you don't have a disorder at all, you just have a stressor, 1 time through is going to be plenty. And there are some people that 1 and 2 are going to, part 1 and part 2 are going to be plenty, right? And I can't tell you who you are. You'll know. So that's what it looks like with how I use safety signaling. But I do want you to understand safety signaling is the key of this. It's transformational. And so I encourage you to try to enroll in my free program, Interventions for Inner World Transformation, please. And then just try out my interventions for free. If you love them, use them a lot. See if you can do this yourself, whatever. If you want more help or you're like, hey, I want to follow Rachel's process, Inner World Transformation, dive in there, do the exercises, use your safety signaling, and watch what happens. So the process is yours. I also do this work one-on-one with people. I do this in small groups. I do consultations. If you would like my help, you can find out all about that in my on my website, and all the links of anything I've talked about are below in the description. So I hope to see you around in my world, but if not, if not inside the place, definitely here on YouTube and Facebook. And I encourage you to like, subscribe, and follow, and I will see you around. Take care.